Hey besties!
Oh my god!
Hey besties, in today's video we are going to be talking about plagiarism. So from what plagiarism is to types of plagiarism, and most importantly to how to prevent plagiarism. If this interests you, this is the video for you. If you are watching me for the first time, my name is Ada and I'm also known as Thelegalpepper. Stay subscribed to the channel and let's go. Plagiarism is when you present someone else's work as yours. Full stop. Now I know that for a lot of international students, it can be very difficult to know when they are plagiarizing. And one thing is, whether you are plagiarizing intentionally or unintentionally, it makes no difference. Plagiarism is a serious offense and it has led to some people even losing their status as students just because they either intentionally plagiarized or, more often than not, unintentionally plagiarized. So now let's explore types of plagiarism. There are various types, but for this video we would focus on 4 main types of plagiarism. Now the first type is direct plagiarism, and this is when you just copy someone's work verbatim. I feel this is the worst kind of plagiarism because you don't even use your own words, you just lift words from text and place it as yours. And once you do not cite, then obviously you've plagiarized. At this point, I would like to say that there is a myth that copying is the only form of plagiarism. So people think this direct plagiarism is the only form of plagiarism, but I'm here to tell you that there are many other forms. Now let's look at the second type of plagiarism, which is patchwork plagiarism. This is one that a lot of people are guilty of because some people write without citing. And I remember one time we had an assignment in class and I was asking one of my classmates if they had finished doing the assignment, and they said, oh yes, they had finished doing the assignment, remaining the part for references. And that confused me because I never knew that writing and citing were different things. A lot of people that write their work first, then reference at the end, can be at risk of patchwork plagiarism, especially when there is no time. So patchwork plagiarism is when you either paraphrase or lift a person's work, it doesn't matter, but you don't cite the correct author. So let's assume that I got an information from a particular author, and because I don't have time to start skimming through all the resources I've used, I just get maybe 2 other authors that were not the authors that made those statements. I would just lift those authors and claim them as the writers of the work. It's just like Mr. A was the one that actually said something, but because I don't have time to know that, okay, it is actually Mr. A, I just reference Mr. B and C, thinking that I've done something good. No. That is plagiarism because you have wrongly attributed someone's work to someone else. And the main tip I will give you to avoid this kind of plagiarism is cite as you write. And that's the tip. I feel like if you can take one thing from this video, take that. You should always cite as you write. So don't wait till you reach the end before you start citing. You may fall at risk of patchwork plagiarism. Moving on to the third type of plagiarism, which is when you paraphrase without citing. Now, if you are watching this video, you most likely will be familiar with paraphrasing because that is one way of preventing plagiarism. However, it's not just you paraphrasing, it's also about you citing, which is one mistake a lot of international students make. They think once they paraphrase, then they are good to go. No, you can be at risk of plagiarism. And plagiarism is a very serious offense. I keep mentioning that. Once once an idea is not yours, you have no business not citing it. Remember what I said earlier as the take home from this video, that you should always cite as you write. If an idea is not from your brain and you've seen it in someone else's work, after you paraphrase, you should cite. So it's not just about you changing the person's words, then claiming it as your own idea. You are still plagiarizing. You should paraphrase, then cite. I'm going to devote another video on citation because I think that is one aspect that a lot of people need guidance on. So if it's something you would like to see, let me know in the comment section. By the way, if you are enjoying this video up till now, do well to give this video a like. Thank you. The fourth type of plagiarism which I was at risk of is self-plagiarism. And I feel this is one that a lot of people should know more about. The first time I heard about self-plagiarism, I was so shocked because I was wondering, how can I plagiarize myself? And this conversation came up when I was submitting an assignment. Since I've been in the social work field as a student, I remember that most of my assignments, I would always have the option of picking what I wanted to write about. For me, I always write on either domestic abuse or racism because those are the things I'm very passionate about. And one day, my personal tutor told me, Ada, please be careful not to plagiarize yourself. And I remember asking him, what do you mean? How can I plagiarize myself? And he said, you keep writing about these topics, so ensure that you are not repeating yourself. And that was when I realized that, wow, I could plagiarize myself. And since then, I became very conscious about not plagiarizing myself. Now, I'm not saying if you've written a piece of work, you cannot draw ideas from that piece of work. But if you are going to do that, then you should cite yourself. Yes. It's irrelevant if what you've written was not published. You should actually cite yourself. However, this is quite dicey. When citing yourself, ensure that in a piece of work, you don't cite yourself a lot of times. As a rule of thumb, I would recommend citing yourself maybe twice, and I think maybe 3 times, but don't stretch it. And the reason for this is because if you keep citing yourself, it just feels like you are reproducing your former work, and that's quite lazy, and it's not going to paint a good picture to whoever is marking because they would actually feel like you are quite lazy. So don't do that at all. So now that we've understood the types of plagiarism, please, if you have any question, put it in the comment section. Let's move over to ways to prevent plagiarism. I know that as I was talking, I mentioned some ways to prevent plagiarism, so keep that as a bonus. But now I will be talking about 8 more ways to prevent plagiarism. And the first is paraphrase with proper citation. Remember I said it earlier that when you keep paraphrasing but you're not citing, you are still plagiarizing. So ensure that even when you paraphrase, you cite. And that helps you paraphrase effectively. The second tip is for you to learn to summarize information. A lot of times when you see an author's work and it's a lot, it's important for you to learn to read those information, then condense it in your own words. That way, you've not just paraphrased, you've also condensed it. And after doing that, you will still do what? You will still cite. Do not forget. If you want me to talk about citation, let me know. Now, the third tip is for you to use direct quotes, especially when you want to lift a person's sentence. So this prevents you from directly plagiarizing where you just lift someone's work. So if you need to lift someone's work, use your quotation marks. But this is something you should avoid doing too much of because it just detracts from your own voice as an author. Now, the fourth tip is for you to make use of citation management tools. Now, I didn't even know that such a thing existed where you have lots of apps that can help you cite, that can help you reference. I've never used any of them, mainly because I feel I genuinely enjoy referencing. When people talk about how difficult it is for them to reference, I don't partake in that conversation because I really love referencing. So even if I had the tools or the app. I rather just do it myself. But if you do not love referencing, then there are some tools like EndNote, Zotero, Mendeley, and there are some other ones that can help you in citing. I've never used any of them, so I don't know so much about those tools, but if you know them, put them in the comment section, or you can actually do a Google search if you're interested and you'll find out more. Now, the fifth tip is to make use of plagiarism detection softwares such as Turnitin, Grammarly, because when you upload your assignment, bear in mind that your lecturer or whoever is marking would run that assignment through a plagiarism checker. So it's better you run it yourself so you would know where you stand. Turnitin is the one that a lot of universities use, so you can as well just use that. And Grammarly is also another good one. In addition to Grammarly helping you with your grammar, it also helps you know if your plagiarism count is quite high. Now, the sixth tip to prevent plagiarism is for you to keep count of the resources that you are using. So let's assume that you don't even want to cite as you write. I would advise you to keep a note where you just take note of the resources. For me, citing as I write would always be the best and even the easiest way. I find it very easy. But if you don't find it easy, take a notepad and take note of them so that you will not fall at the risk of patchwork plagiarism, where you just pick different work as the work you're trying to cite. Now, the seventh tip is speak to your personal tutor. As students, we should learn to make use of our tutors. They are there for a reason. They are being paid to actually support us. So if you feel your work may fall at the risk of plagiarism and you just need guidance, you can actually ask for help. Most schools have workshops where they help about plagiarism, where they teach you how to reference. Ask around and you will find those resources. If you don't find those resources, reach out to your personal tutor and ask for guidance. Now, the eighth and final way to prevent plagiarism, which is just the simplest way, is use your own idea. Full stop, final. If you use your own idea, no one can accuse you of plagiarism because it's your own idea. So just use your own idea. However, I know that you can't do a full work without using other people's idea, because imagine a work where it's just your own idea. So there is really nothing to cite unless if you're trying to cite yourself. That's definitely not a good work, but using your own idea more often than not actually helps you. It builds your knowledge base and it prevents you from being at risk of plagiarism. But obviously, if you need to use other people's work, as you most likely would, use the other tips I've mentioned above. So that's it, besties, about this video. I am linking a playlist of educational content such as this. So if you love this video, you are going to love this playlist. Until next time, stay blessed, remain happy, and bye.